Welcome to the Shoot It Straight podcast.
Welcome everybody to our show.
Yeah, your podcast for all things golf, fitness, and health.
Damn right.
That's
like
what I
that.
said for take one. I liked our take one, and then I also said that we were in a groove, but I think we're not in a groove today in general. And today's been a weird day.
Yeah, Erika woke up with or not woke up.
I didn't. That's
after
the
an
thing.
hour, you woke up and had a debilitating neck pain.
Yes,
we
woke
had to
up,
take you to
actually,
the doctor.
Slept great last night. Actually, woke up, felt good. Got up a squat, made coffee, did the normal routine, and then I literally was like looking over the sink, like I was about to either do something maybe skincare related. I can't remember, but all I did was like just kind of look at myself in the mirror and turn a certain way, and the next thing I know, like my neck just can't move. It's a lot better. It is a lot better now, but it was like pain.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have experienced, like when you hear people that say they throw their back out, I honestly think it was probably like that kind of, where I just felt like I couldn't move.
Yeah, but how'd you fix it? What do we do?
I went to the PT this morning.
Yes, that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't go
Yeah.
get it taken care of by an actual professional.
Yes, and we just talked about that. We just talked about that either last week or the episode that came out this week maybe, or the one before that. But thankfully, it was a Friday, so the doctor's offices are open, and
You went on Veterans Day.
got in. Yeah, I got in on Veterans Day with Dr. John over at 918 Chiropractic.
Probably helps that I went to high school with him.
Yeah, for sure. He gave me the special treatment.
Special treatment, yes. Special Jinx Trojans treatment.
No, but it was good. Like I just kind of, suffered through. I did some stuff on my own this morning and just try to keep moving it around. And I was trying to just find where it was like bothering me the most, and it slowly was going like not as sharp. But anyway, he adjusted me really good.
Got you fixed up.
Gets you fixed up, and they put you in positions too, like if you have a good PT where that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get to on your own. Like,
oh, not at all.
Stretch you in those full ranges of motion that would be kind of almost when it feels scary, but like, when someone knows what they're doing. Cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be adjusted going into the weekend, and then maybe if I need to see him next week, I will. But I do feel like I'm already feeling a lot like looser.
Good.
Still just a little tender, but nothing like it was this morning.
You should do my follow along mobility, and
I was pulling out the moves. I swear to God, I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was doing where how you have the band and you move your head, but you can do it by clenching your just your fingers like this and creating the same like engagement in your lats, and then doing the same stuff. I was doing the stuff.
You gotta do it and be a little more preventative versus reactive.
Yeah, I guess.
So I tell people, because I feel that a lot of my messages come in after the fact.
Yeah, they do.
Like, oh, I've done this. It's like, well, what did we do before that? Like, let's everybody start like taking care of yourselves a little bit better today.
Yes.
So
Totally.
that way you don't have to come back in a few months and be like, oh, I tweaked this or I did that. It'll still happen, but I think you can definitely take some steps in the right direction that will minimize the, I don't want to say risk, but minimize the chances of it happening.
It's just weird when kind of freaky things like that happen. I still can't quite, though, pinpoint it to what. It wasn't bothering me. My neck was not bothering me yesterday. I had a heavy lift, but I've been doing nothing but bodybuilding type workouts. So nothing, crazy explosive. When I was doing power cleans and all that kind of shit, and doing
Right.
CrossFit style workouts, that's totally different because I was always engaging the wrong things. But
Well, that leads into our topic today. You already said a couple of things that we're going to talk about today.
today's topic is bodybuilding. We're going to come full circle. We've brought this up on the podcast before, but I think now we have some good like self-study that you've definitely gone through as it applies to the sport of golf.
Yeah, and I think also it's bodybuilding, and a common thing out there is that people just want to add on golf-specific workouts to whatever program it is they're doing. Typically, it's bodybuilding type splits because those are still the most popular things people do in the gym. So I think I want to hit on both of those today.
Yeah, that's okay. I like that. I like that because I've been doing my own bodybuilding now too for 5 weeks, so I can speak to like just.
But you don't play golf.
I know, but I can speak to performance training and
Correct.
how I can speak to it.
I know
sure.
you can. I never said you couldn't speak to it. I just said like you're doing bodybuilding because you're not playing. You don't play golf. You don't have like a sport you're training for right now.
No, totally. That's why I think I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Like seriously, and how it's differed from like all the any other training I've ever done was more like performance focused. So I can definitely like compare those apples to. I will always preface this though, I'm definitely not a bodybuilding expert. Neither of us are. Like we know Olympia or whatever Miss Olympia was just last weekend. Like we're not really talking about that. We're talking about the bros and the girls that get into the gym and kind of do their little, like they love to do buys and backs and that type of like your whatever your splits are.
Right.
We'll dive into that today for sure. But yeah, so maybe we just kick it off. I mean, you did, I don't know, how long did you do your bodybuilding?
6 weeks.
You did 6 weeks? Oh, okay, cool. That's a long time. I didn't even think it was that long. You did 6 weeks because, you know, earlier in the summer, you and I had discussed potentially doing a bodybuilding for golf program. And if you haven't listened to the episode with Dr. Jeff, who is a bodybuilder and also like has a crazy background in PT and TPI, he just does all the things. Folks should definitely go back and listen to that episode because he is a wealth of knowledge in the realm of the sport of bodybuilding. Definitely listen to that episode. But then you started your bodybuilding cycle right about then, and obviously played golf this summer.
Right.
And you wanted it to work out that the bodybuilding splits would help your game, but it turns out they didn't.
Right. And I think when I try and when I experiment programs, I also do them probably about as hard as you can take them, because I'm writing programs for people I'm never going to see do the workouts. So I look at it as I try to break the program, right? Like I'm going to think about it going as hard as someone could possibly go and see how you get out of that. Because I'm thinking, you know, some of the people who do my lift heavy swing fast workouts are doing them pretty intense. And I want to make sure that that won't be detrimental to their goals. So I made sure that when I did a bodybuilding program that I researched it first, because there has been a lot of changes in how what they believe in to work for bodybuilding now versus kind of when I first started doing it like 20 years ago. Ripping pages out of the Muscle and Fitness magazine, they've came a long way, and they've kind of come up with like new rep schemes and things like that, because bodybuilding used to be just tons of volume. You used to tons of sets. I mean, tons of reps. I mean, you're talking like everything in the gym, you do like at least like 4 sets, 10, 12, crazy high reps, like anywhere between 8 and 12, but typically like on the higher end. And it was just a ton of volume. And they've actually kind of figured out that you just got to take a few sets really close to failure. And that's what I really focus on. And I listen to multiple podcasts. We had Dr. Jeff on here. I listened to Brian Bornstein talk a lot about it. So, and then I read some studies and just really tried to, you know, take in as much information as I could. And then I put it into my own spin on what I thought would make it a golf specific bodybuilding program and still help me play golf. Turns out like it literally ended up almost being like 10 shots worse after doing this program for 6 weeks.
I'd say that's like not to be, but like statistically significant. Because like for you, like it could be 2 or 3 less. I feel like that wouldn't really be significant. That could be you just not having a good few weeks or whatever. But 10 sounds like that's
10's a lot.
That's like significant.
I mean, I was trending in the right direction before I started doing it. Granted, the first like week I did it was fine. And then I started really getting into it and things started to change. And yeah, I mean, I went from trending really well. I was, I'm a 4 handicap. I was getting down into, I was at my home course, par 71. I shot a 74. I stood on the 16th tee box, 1 under par, right before I started training this way. And then I barely broke 90 about 6 weeks in, just because my timing was all off and it just wasn't working well for me. And it's probably for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, so maybe we should kind of talk about those reasons and what you felt like. Because I'd love to hear, from a performance standpoint, was your endurance there? Were you getting tired? Were you almost overly fatigued? Like, where are you feeling like the errors came from?
Yeah, so I mean, I think part of hitting the ball far comes from training for speed and power. And you can only train for speed and power when you're not under a lot of fatigue. And when you just totally like beat up one of your muscles, like say when you do a full leg day, right? And I was doing, squats, hack squats, leg extensions, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, like, all sorts of things. And, then you're hitting the leg extension machine. So you're really isolating your legs. So you really smoke them. And then if I'm going to try to put in some kind of power in a workout 2 days from then, I'm still going to feel that soreness and that fatigue and that just, I'm just not going to have that pop. And so my golf swing didn't have that either. And the thing with bodybuilding, you do still do a good amount of volume, but you beat your muscles up pretty good, so you stimulate growth, right? We're trying to get that muscle hypertrophy to happen. So you gotta cause some, you gotta give them a reason to grow. So you gotta beat them up a little bit. And so typically you have to do like chest day, back day, arm day, leg day, shoulders. I think I got it to where I was doing like 4 days a week where I could really hit each muscle group pretty hard. I didn't do a shoulder day. I thought that was kind of redundant because like if you're doing a lot of like, I think when you do chest, right, or you do like overhead movements, so I was kind of putting like a overhead press in with like a chest press day. So I just didn't really feel like just destroying my shoulders that
just like
much.
An upper body push day.
Yeah, pretty much like an upper body push.
Yeah.
But I still, so I was getting so like fatigued that, I just couldn't focus on, power. And then like my mobility started to suffer a little bit. So I think the number one reason is I lost distance, which is probably the biggest thing that I control as a golf fitness coach is I help people hit the ball farther. Whether that be through mobility or power training, like that's, one of the biggest assets to anyone's game and especially my game. I started losing that. So I think that was probably one of the biggest things right there when it came to bodybuilding. And you got to spend more time in the gym. I mean, our lift heavy swing fast is 3 days a week total body.
Yeah.
And bodybuilding workouts, I mean, like I got it down to 4 days, and that's a whole other day.
Yeah, it's a whole nother day, and the sessions are just as long. It's not like you're going from, sometimes if you do a 4-day split, it's like 45 minute or 40-minute sessions or whatever like that. It's not really the case with bodybuilding because you are having to get to failure. Yeah.
And so then to think about what your goal is, right? That you're doing bodybuilding for. It's body comp. That's all it's for, right? You want to get jacked. Right? I mean, is that wrong to say?
That's why people do it, yeah.
That is why you do it, to get jacked. And I didn't notice, did you notice a big change in my body composition?
It's hard to say because I see you every day. I really do think I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we have some pictures. I didn't do the full, I probably should have done like a full, like here I'm going to flex in the camera. It's just not my style to do that.
Yeah. I know. Kat wanted me to do it. When I started my bodybuilding, like with my glutes and stuff, she's like, take pictures. And I'm like, I don't know if I've ever really done that for like the sake of, and I also just don't see that on people that well. I know that might sound weird, but I find that people in the bodybuilding space are really good at like looking at bodies and being like, their quads are an inch bigger or whatever. And I think that's great. I don't have an eye for that. Yeah. Like I never have. I'm like, okay, like I can see if someone's like leaner, but even if I grew an inch on my glutes, which would be cool. Like, I don't even know if I would know or see.
Yeah.
Like, how do you differentiate between standing the exact right way too? I just feel like that's the part of it where I'm just like, I don't know. So no, I don't know. I don't think that you got smaller.
I definitely didn't I don't think I got smaller, but I don't think I got like substantially more cut or my arms got bigger or like my quads got more defined. I don't think any of that happened. So like if that is your goal, right? Like that is the number one goal of bodybuilding, right? Like it's not performance based. Like it's not to get, if you want to get strong as possible, you do powerlifting. It's a totally different way of training. Like, and I think that, and I didn't get any stronger. Not necessarily. I mean, I did movements that I don't do. Like I got stronger like doing a leg extension because I don't normally do leg extensions.
Yeah.
I usually just squat. So I got stronger doing movements that I don't normally do, but that'll happen no matter what you do, right? Like if you go from not doing a dumbbell lateral raise in your program because you train for golf and I don't put it in there a whole lot, and then I start doing dumbbell lateral raises, I'm going to get stronger in a movement that I've been doing.
Totally. No, I think this is a good point. Let's back up a little bit actually, because I think we should define, I don't know if we should define bodybuilding or just at least define bodybuilding for the sake of this conversation or for the just sake of what we think people think that it is.
Yeah.
What I mean is, you and Jeff talked about this a lot on the last podcast, and it's going to failure and people truly getting to failure and training hard. And we've talked about that on the podcast numerous times of like intensity totally matters and like not just checking off the box and mailing it in. So I bring this up because I do feel like there's people in your space or your clients or people that reach out to you on social that are like, I can get away with doing bodybuilding and playing golf, but it's like, sure, but like how hard are you going to?
Right.
and I'm not saying that there's, you know, a certain percentage who knows how many people, but I just think there's a good amount of guys out there and girls, whatever, that they like bodybuilding because it can be easy. It can be easy to go on a machine and do your 5 sets of 10 and do your machine 5 sets of 10 bicep curls and whatever. And it can feel easy unless you're really focusing on, I mean, the mind muscle connection that I've noticed, like the concentration it's crazier than like doing, maybe because I was just getting so used to doing squats and deadlifts and all the stuff with the barbell, which of course takes also lots of concentration. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but when you're really trying to feel different angles and different muscles and all the specific little groups, and you're isolating your quads on a leg extension or whatever, like it takes so much like mental, for me, I think, because I'm new to it, but I think that's the point too, of like you're really bringing something to failure, so you're like having to get to that point. I just don't think a lot of people get there. So coming back to the beginning of what I was saying, do you think that's also why some people maybe defend it more than they should? Because and we see this at the gym all the time. We see the 70-year-old guys that have been at the gym for decades doing the same workouts over and over again, and their bodies are also not changing, doing bodybuilding workouts, but they're not bodybuilding by definition because they're just doing the same shit every time.
Right. I mean, yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to give your body a reason to want to change, and sometimes, and you've got to really push that sometimes.
Yes.
And yeah, people don't.
Totally.
A lot, like in any program. So like, yeah, so, and to that extent, like if you're not pushing it in a bodybuilding program, you're not getting the effect out of it.
Totally. It's like the same people, I think an analogy to help people is like, oh, I tried this diet and it didn't work. And it's like, okay, but did you?
Yeah.
And it could, you know, did you do it, or was it just Monday through Friday? Did you do it except for, you know, like that's kind of how I feel with like people kind of are like, well, I did it and that didn't work. Well, it's like, oh, well, I bodybuild and it doesn't bother me. Well, it's like you probably aren't going to failure and like really pushing yourself really, 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 really hard.
Right. And when you go to failure, you get sore, and soreness isn't necessarily a sign of a good workout or something great. It's just you push your muscles to a certain extent, right?
Totally.
And I think that right there also is what people take as a sign of a good workout, and don't necessarily think they get that when they do a total body workout because they didn't push that muscle hard enough. They got sore doing a bodybuilding workout because they did 5, 4, 6, 10 different exercises, depending on who wrote the programming, for their chest.
Yeah.
So even if you don't push it very hard, chances are that like you just banged up your chest for a full hour, you probably might get that total amount of work is going to get your chest sore. So you feel that the next day and you think in your mind, I accomplished something. But then you take that same strategy of, oh, I'm just going to half-ass everything I did, or I'm just going to take the same like half-ass mentality into doing my total body workout. And you're like, oh, I didn't get sore because like you didn't push any single body part very far. You just so happened to do it in that bodybuilding workout just because it was pretty much going to happen no matter what, because there's so much you were doing to one muscle group.
Yeah, it's like anybody that's like picked up, I always, you know, if you play softball for the first time in a long time and you throw over and over and over again, you're so sore like the next day.
Right.
And it's not really because you went to failure per se, because you weren't lifting anything heavy, but like the reps,
right.
on those same muscles, same idea,
right.
Where you're like, just the time under tension is just like crazy and different.
Yeah. So like, I think that could be detrimental to people too, is that they just aren't, when they're not pushing it hard enough, they just get in that bad habit of not doing it. So, I mean, we used to do this, like one or two exercises, per workout, and we'd hammer them and be sore.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think a lot of people have that mentality. They look at a workout as being effective or hard by the amount of work they're doing, like just total volume, as opposed to total intensity.
Yes. Yeah, and again, like you just like a lot of box checking.
Yeah.
So if it's like, cool, this workout doesn't have enough because it only has 2 parts in it. So it's just automatically like not hard enough. It's like, meanwhile, and I sent you the bodybuilding program that I'm doing, the clip of like the 8 paragraphs that he wrote about, like, because we're in the final week, so it's just like a lot about like getting to failure and pushing. So like, but anyway, like the point was like there isn't a lot actually in the program every day, but like there's one exercise that you're doing it in such a way, so like scientifically, that it's like
Right.
You're working on it. And that you could say the same thing about doing, like when we did squats and deadlifts really heavy and we would do like one lift a day.
Yeah.
We worked our way up, we warmed up, we waited, we rested. Like it was like the whole thing, but it was like, all right, that's how you get stronger, by actually like pushing the envelope and pushing yourself.
Right.
Anyway, I just think I know that was like sort of a long tangent, but kind of important to talk about in the context of this conversation, because I think that people will hear this and be like, well, still, I'm fine with bodybuilding. And it's like, well, if your goal is to just be in the gym a few days a week, and that's, you just want to move your body, like, again, we've said that's cool. But like, if you're truly bodybuilding, then you're absolutely going to be sore. I mean, I just told you this morning. I've been feeling like my hunger levels certainly started to go up by like weeks 3, 4, and 5-ish. I feel anabolic. I always can tell when my body, like when my muscles like want to grow. I know that sounds so weird.
You got to feed them.
But if you've been training long enough, I think you can understand what that, people will like, you understand what that feels like.
Right.
You wake up and you like feel a certain kind of way. Like it's not even a soreness so much as like your muscles got worked.
Right.
And to your point, not going to be the most optimal for me needing to do anything explosive whatsoever.
Right.
If my legs are fatigued and I can't even, drive through my glutes 50% of their capacity.
Yeah. Yep. And and I think one of the things too is like, is it goal specific, right? Like driving through your glutes, like you do 50% or whatever it is. Like, so I made a post the other day about this, and I said, like, golfers, like, serious question, like, why are you doing a bodybuilding workout? And this guy wrote, he was like, well, because I'm not a professional golfer, so I do bodybuilding splits. And my question was, okay, so are you a professional bodybuilder? And he said, no. And I was like, got it. That makes total sense. Like,
I guess because he has a body. That's the thing where things get a little gray. I'm not taking sides, but you just try to put yourself in the thought of the client out there, or the person that's going to the gym. It's like the thing, everybody eats, so everyone has their opinion about diet and food and what they put in their body, and it's like everyone has a body, and like they might just be going to the gym to go to the gym. Like people don't really understand the other reasons, besides a lot of people still associate their body, what it looks like, with the gym. The vast majority of people do.
right.
Especially, and we've talked about this, the people that just start out definitely do. Eventually, you start to like all the other things that are great about going to the gym, your mental clarity, your energy levels, blah, 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 go on. But like in the beginning, it's like, I want my body to look better.
And I get that.
Yeah. So that's just.
And I think then to my point is like, look at, you're starting to do bodybuilding, but you didn't do bodybuilding. You just now started doing it, and you've had a great physique. Like, my physique isn't bad. And I don't do bodybuilding to look this way.
No, I totally agree. I want to talk about that.
And I don't do bodybuilding to look this way.
Totally.
So I think that's like one of the big things like I want to get out there is like, okay, well, if you want to look good and play well and perform like an athlete, we can train a little differently.
Yes.
And if you truly enjoy bodybuilding, like, and then that's what another person said, it was like, well, I enjoy it. I don't like doing the total body workouts. Like it gives me motivation or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I would say that's an enjoyment / motivation problem, as opposed to like a goal specific problem or a workout specific problem.
Totally. And I think that now's a good time to talk about that, and like some takeaways that I've over just, again, 5 weeks of being consistent with a workout program, bodybuilding, compared to like many years of different types of performance. Yes, I never had to do bodybuilding type workouts to change my physique. That was never a requirement. My physique changed the most when I was doing compound lifts, heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, pressing, and just like getting familiar with the barbell. That was like number one, bar none. And then, like, of course, diet and all of the other things that go along with all of that, and how consistent that we've been for very, very, very long time. But we also talk about how important like periodization can be. So again, in defense of bodybuilding, or for anybody out there who maybe hasn't done it or was curious about doing it or wanting to change their body composition, like I kind of wanted to grow my glutes a little bit. I also thought that there'd be a benefit in like, I was getting really just so fatigued my CNS was like run down from like barbell squatting and deadlifting. I just felt like I was really hammering it and just was so not feeling workouts for a while. Whereas like this was a really good shift for me to like just I haven't really done much barbell stuff. I've been on machines. I've learned how imbalanced I actually am. Not terribly, but like, your left side versus your right side, because I've been doing a lot of single leg, single arm work, which is really cool. So it's good to like kind of focus on that kind of stuff and see where you compensate. And then again, like just being able to just try something different mentally. It's like more mentally stimulating to change it up for me and like take a break. But like again, periodization is really, really important. Like there's no doubt that like having stronger hamstrings from doing leg curls is probably going to translate over to my squats, my lunges, like whatever I want to go do down the line. So for me, it's been fun. I don't particularly, like I said earlier in the episode, like I don't take measurements or feel like I need to pick myself apart and like work on certain things. But, I've been wanting to develop my glutes and my legs more. I do feel like things have gotten definitely stronger in that realm. I understand why people do it. It's been harder than I definitely thought that it would be, for sure, because I am pushing myself really, really hard. But I do miss like a little bit of performance training and things like that. Like it's been pretty like I don't really do much jumping. Every once in a while, like he threw skaters in there. Like he'll drop in a little bit of lateral movement, I think, just to remember that it exists.
Right.
But it's really not that much. It's really not.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't want to dive in too much to nutrition on this topic, but I think that people underestimate how much nutrition does for your body composition.
Yeah.
Like you can do a bodybuilding workout or you can train total body and do performance training. And if your diet is on point, you'll look great doing either one of those things. And if your diet's not on point, you're not going to look great doing either one of those things. Like
yes.
it doesn't really matter. So like, I think for you, that's where, cause your diet is more spot on than anyone I've ever seen in my entire life. Maybe outside of like professional bodybuilders that I've watched on YouTube, but like that's what'll help move the needle. So changing workouts for you will help move the needle, right, in body composition. True. But for the typical person that's not focusing on their diet, they're not going to get a great body composition doing either one of them.
Very true.
But you can still get a better performance out of doing the total body workouts.
Yes.
So that's where I would weigh it out, right? Like if I'm gonna do this bodybuilding workout, but I'm gonna still eat like shit, I'm gonna get a little bit stronger, I'll build some muscle, stuff like that, but I'm not gonna perform any better, and I'm not gonna look that much different.
That's very absolutely 100%.
Or
true.
I can look or I can perform better and still kind of look how I look.
Yes.
So which one do you want?
Yes.
That's
No, you're right. You're right. Actually, I'm really glad you said that in like such a good way. Yeah, I mean it's so true, and I think we've talked about this before, but yeah, you can definitely not have the best body composition and still have better mobility, get stronger, have better performance on the golf course. We, of course, encourage people to improve their body comp and lose body fat if they need to, if they're overweight. Like it's good for your overall health. But we've seen plenty of people out there. We trained, like we saw that guy when we were in Austin who like busted out, like he had great overhead squat mobility, and you would have never, looking at him, you would have never thought and it was like, damn, like, but that guy's fit. He literally is fit as fuck. He's mobile. He's got good like joint ankle mobility. Like he was all over, like, I don't know. I just found he was like an example that came to the top of my head, but it's like, you're so right. People are sort of spinning their wheels, wondering why they're not seeing results in the gym doing the bodybuilding type workouts for 3 years. And it's like, no matter what you're doing, if you're eating like garbage, it doesn't really matter. So you might as well get like the little bit of conditioning too that goes along with performance workouts and all of the mobility that we program in our workouts too. And like just the whole well-roundedness of like a golf fitness program, a good golf fitness program.
Yeah. And that's something I learned very early on as a personal trainer in the big box gyms was, okay, these people probably aren't going to change up their diet tremendously to get a massive body composition change. So what can I do to make them happy and notice a difference? And it was usually, getting them stronger. Like, as I trained a lot of people like 55 plus, and strength goes a long way for those types of people, right? That you go from being straight up weak to being strong. From being a 65-year-old woman that can't hold a 10-pound dumbbell to being able to do a pull-up. Substantial changes that they can see. and not a ton of body comp change, right? But quality of life for sure. So same thing here, like your quality of, I mean, a better golf game is a better quality of life, and a lot of people's.
No, but, I mean, for
a lot
sure.
of people, it improves my
For
quality.
sure.
When I lower scores, improves my quality of
Yeah,
life.
no.
But I mean, for real, like what is going to get you closer to a goal? And if your goal is body composition, you've got to dial in your diet, and it doesn't really matter what workout you do.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. I think that's like so spot on. And yeah, I mean, again, workouts are meant to be enjoyed. If someone genuinely enjoys one type or another, I think that's great. But I also think that I always challenge people to do things that they don't want to do. I did not necessarily want to do this bodybuilding thing, but it's like, do the things that you definitely don't practice that often. It's cool to gravitate towards one type of way, but there should be a season of your programming that's dedicated to doing something that you need to work on. And everybody, if you're not necessarily want to do a golf fitness program and you love your bodybuilding, you should have a season of 3 to 4 months of a golf fitness program at least every year where you're incorporating that stuff.
And that's a good point is, try it. If you, if you've just been doing bodybuilding, take a picture of yourself, because that's obviously your true goal is to look your best. Take a picture of yourself today. Start a golf fitness program. Start my golf fitness program. You listen to my podcast. So start mine. It's a free trial. Start it. Do it for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and see how you look and see how your performance goes. Like, remember, the best thing I can control in a golf fitness program is going to be like your mobility. So we're talking about like how consistent you are with your swing, how well you move, and then obviously explosive power, how far you hit the ball. So track those things, track your scores, and then track how you look, and just see how it goes at the end of 6 or 12 weeks, and see if you improve on all those things. And if it gets worse, no hard feelings. Go back and do your bodybuilding workout.
Totally. I think that's fair. Give yourself the 6 weeks because that matters too.
At least 6 weeks. I mean, now we're in, unless you're in the warm weather climate, like you're probably not playing that much. So
yeah,
don't be so hard on this, the score. You got to be a little more lenient on that, because if you're someone that used to play a couple times a week and now you're playing like a couple times a month or whenever there's a random nice day. Yeah, your short game is going to be off. You're not going to putt. You're going to miss a few putts. So like, don't be so hard on your score. The reason I used my score is because I was playing a lot when I did this experiment. I went from mid 70s to low 70s to almost hitting 90. So it was actually worse than 10 on some occasions. But yeah, and I think that can also lead us into the kind of second half of this topic, if you will, is people want to still do bodybuilding, and then they just want to, or whatever it is, they might want to do CrossFit, or they might just want to train for a marathon. I don't know. And then they want to add on golf specific exercises. Yes. This gets me all the time. This is probably the most common thing that I get requests for is, can you give me, and they offer to pay for it, but can you give me golf specific exercises to add to my programming? I get that a lot.
I'm going to use the nutrition analogy again on that one, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong and explain to me what you think makes sense.
You're my wife. You want me to tell you if you're wrong?
Well, no, but
every man listening is like, don't. That's a trap. Don't do that.
But I mean, I know the answer to this because we've talked about this a lot, but it's like, again, it's like the whole, yeah, tell me what foods I should be eating for
fat loss.
For fat loss. That's exactly. And it's like, again, we could be eating certain foods. Sure, there are foods that are technically better or healthier than others, right? That provide more nutritional value. Okay. But it means absolutely nothing unless I know what you're eating the other percent of the time.
Right.
The programming is the exact same way. It's like, okay, well, sure, I can, people, that's why I like the snack question. I know I'm always down for the snack question, but it's like, it always comes from a place of like, well, what do I eat in the here and now? And I'm like, we need to back up a little bit first. Like, yes, I can give you all the healthy things to eat that day, but like, if we're dehydrated leading up to it, if you eat like shit all week, I mean, there's just so many other things that matter throughout the whole diet matters way more than like one particular food. Right. So it's really similar to that question, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I wanted to like kind of go this way with it too. Is like, okay, I write programs on an app. I have over 700 videos that I've uploaded to program for people. you're going to think that a lot of those don't overlap with what you would call like bodybuilding workouts or non-golf specific workouts. There's not 700 golf specific, and I'm doing air quotes, workouts or exercises, excuse me. So like you don't just cherry pick a few of these and add them on. It's the entirety of the program.
Right.
And to your point right there, if I don't know what you're doing the rest of the time, you don't just add stuff on, because it kind of could be like counterintuitive, right?
Totally.
It's not going to fix it, right? Like that's why the bodybuilding was a problem, because when you do speed and power training, you need to give yourself like roughly 48 hours of recovery for your central nervous system to recover to be able to do something very explosively. Sometimes it's up to 72 hours actually, but like 48 is like almost like a minimum. And that's even, so like if you do like chest day and then back day, like you're now saying like I could have done an explosive movement on Monday, for example, if that was chest day. Can't do explosive movements now because I worked out again on Tuesday. Now you're pushing that all the way until Thursday. If you did a workout on Wednesday, now, you know, see how it goes here? We're like getting further and further down. So like it's the entirety of the program that has to be golf specific, again, in air quotes, because I can make the argument that every single movement out there could be somewhat golf specific, except the burpee, I think. And I'm really good at burpees, by the way. Someone was like, oh, you probably just hate them. And I'm like, okay, I crush burpees. But anyways, like pretty much every single movement you can think of could help your golf swing in one way or another. So it's not just, oh, I want to do chest day. Now give me some rotation to fix the damage I'm doing to my chest to make it where I can still go play golf. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Nope.
My programs have bench presses in them. They have chest flies. We have tricep extensions. I have shoulder raises. We have squats. Like we have legs, all this kind of stuff that you're going to see in a traditional program, but it's how I put it in the program, for one, how it's sequenced in, like what did I put what's at the beginning? Is it, I will say like probably more golf specific mobility is in there. Like I don't mind like calling that, you know, because a lot of other programs don't put a ton of mobility that a golfer needs. So, okay, golf specific mobility at the beginning. Then we make sure we hit our explosive power. And it's not reps. So like another thing, in CrossFit, they have box jumps and things like that, but they do like 30 of them, right? In my program, we're doing vertical jumps because, and you can land on a box, but I don't really care how high the box is. That doesn't mean how high you actually jumped. Mm-hmm. And I only have like 3 of them. Sometimes I'll put in 5 sets of that. And you get a big long rest period, where in CrossFit, it's like do as many as you can in 50 seconds and then quickly jump into the next thing, do as many of those as you can, and so on and so forth. I think that's Fight Gone Bad.
Oh, I don't remember.
1 minute at a time. It's
you
a
have
fight
a good memory.
Fight Gone Bad WOD for you CrossFitters out there. But so yeah, like it's all part of it. It's not just add on. It's not a la carte. You know, this isn't a buffet like where you just pick a few things that you like and call it a day and then add in a bunch of those things. It's the entirety of the workout and then the entirety of the program, how it's put in day by day.
Yes, 1,000%.
Month by month, week by whatever.
Yep, nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I don't really have anything else to say because it's like I get where people are coming from, kind of, but it's like piecemeal, like doesn't really work for much of anything.
Right.
You know, it'd be like, I'm trying to think, I try to always, I don't know why I like analogies for people, but I think of people's like jobs and careers and things like that too. So I'm like, think about if like you're consulting or if you're consulting with your client, you're a lawyer or you're a consultant and they're like, help us fix X, Y, and Z. You're likely needing to look at all of their processes in their business before you can just make recommendations. Like any consultant or any lawyer or any doctor would do a doctor is loosely using, maybe not a doctor. Every other profession is looking at the holistic picture. We're looking at like, what are the business operations over here? What's this department doing over here? And it's not just like here are our recommendations without us giving doing an overview of your business or doing our due diligence. And you know, if you're going into if you're an auditor, like you're looking at all the things. There's really no difference here. It's the same kind of question where it's like, we need to be zooming way out and looking at the big picture. You know, again, you know, what are your goals? But generally speaking, a golf fitness program is holistic and it's covering all the bases, and it really needs to be that you're following. And this goes for any workout program, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I think that this isn't just a golf specific thing at all. We know a lot of people that like to cherry pick.
Right.
And I, strongly advise people against doing things like that because it never feels good to just like hop into a class out of nowhere and like do something totally random that you haven't done in a long time. Or, again, cherry picking even movements at the gym. If that's how you work out, you're not going to see progress.
Right.
So we should just get rid of all of the cherry picking a la carte stuff.
Yeah. And I give this answer all the time. I mean, this is at least every other day. Someone sends me a DM or email asking me, hey, I want to just add on a couple of things here. And if I had no integrity, I could probably charge these people a couple $100
Yes.
and give them and sell these little add-ons.
Yes.
And I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. $100. I will give you 20 golf specific, again with the air quotes, exercises to add on to your program.
Yes.
And here you go. Have a nice day. Thank you for your $100. But I give the full answer of what I believe to be true, or what I know is true, and how it should be programmed accordingly. And a lot of times people don't write me back because they don't like that answer.
Yeah.
They've already came up with how they want this to go.
Yep.
I've already decided that I want to, and this is this guy this other day and never heard back from him.
Yep.
This is like on Monday. He wrote me, I emailed him, and we're super quick. I mean, I write these people back within 24 hours.
Yeah, usually much less.
Usually
if
4
it's
o'clock.
Coming in overnight.
Usually 4 o'clock in the next morning is when I write you back.
Because we have people across overseas,
Yeah.
so that can be like, but it's usually 12 hours.
I write you right back. So if you've already moved on from this idea and you're like already over it, but I think people have got to be reading these emails and be like, nope, I don't like that answer. I'm going to go find someone who will tell me what I want to hear or give me what I want. Because the guy the other day literally wrote, hey, I do CrossFit 3 or 4 times a week. I want to add in golf specific workouts 2 to 3 times a week. So let's do the math there. You're looking at anywhere between 5 and 7 days of working out now, doing CrossFit and golf specific workouts. One, that reminds me of when people like write down all the stuff they're going to do on their to-do list for that week or that day or something. And it's massive.
Yes.
And you get through like 2 of those things.
Yes.
I'm guilty of that myself. So like, don't set yourself up for that. Why would you do that? Be like, oh yeah, 7 workouts this week. Let's fucking go. Cool. Calm your jets. Not going to happen.
Right.
Like, so why would you set yourself up for this? And these aren't the youngest guys I've ever talked to. They're like 40. Like you don't have the battery to do that either. Sorry. Sorry.
Guys are funny with the I have a client.
Yeah,
I have a client like that, a male client. Every week it's like, I'm going to get my workouts in. And I'm like, can we just set the expectation of 2? Can we just shut the fuck up and do 2? Because you've never hit your 4.
Yeah.
So, and I mean this like with all due respect, like literally, it's like, why are we beating a dead horse?
Yeah. Why are we setting ourselves up for this? And that's just not effective anyways.
Right.
Even if you did pull that off, again, the recovery you have to train for explosive power has to happen. It is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care if you are the fittest person on earth. Like, you cannot do it. Your body just does not work that way. They've studied it. It's facts.
And then playing golf on top of all that. I mean, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Don't you want to go play golf too? Like, that's the thing too, is like, why are we doing so much stuff in the gym when we really got to get out there and play golf too, or practice, or do your swing drills like you see me doing upstairs right now, like in the house without a golf ball? Like, that's taking the place of like another workout for me, although I don't do other workouts anyways. But
I think that's a great way for us to wrap up is the minimum effective dose thing. Yeah. And reminding people of that. And you and I both come from backgrounds of working out a lot, and we've done seasons of that. I am always like, now more than ever, trying to do the least amount of work possible for the maximum amount of result. And I have been so pleased with the fact that my body has been feeling, I'm knock on wood with this neck thing, but truly aside from this today, I feel like I feel better. I look just as good, if not better, by doing like truly the least amount of working out that I've ever done.
Right.
Like, I'm not making this up. I feel like people feel like they must be whatever. I don't know what people in their heads are thinking, but it's like, it's so true. Like, the amount of recovery, or getting the right amount of recovery, is seriously so important. Not to mention, I like having the additional time. Like, I like not having my life revolve around training all the time and having the flexibility. When you say I can commit to 3 workouts, it's not about doing less because you can't keep up, or that you're a lesser person, or that you're not goal oriented, or that you're not type A. I don't know if people like almost like want to identify a certain way, so they feel like they need to I'm a badass, so I'm going to do it 7 days a week or whatever. But it's like, no, like it's actually the best thing that you could be doing for your body. And also, if you miss a day, it's way easier to make up a day because you're only working out. You're doing your 3 to 4 max a week. So there's flexibility and wiggle room if there's a couple funky days in there that you don't feel good, or you're nursing a tweak, or you didn't sleep good. I feel that where it's like, all right, no sweat, I'll just train tomorrow.
Right.
Cool. Like there's just a lot more freedom with that, especially for our golfers. They should want to have extra time to play golf or practice their game.
Yeah, you can do a swing drill. Like
yeah,
literally,
there's definitely workouts involved in that, or
and do it at home. Like you can, if you don't have a swing drill, hire a coach. There's probably something you can work on. You're not a pro. Because
right.
we train the amateurs. Like, there's something you can work on.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean it's just been interesting lately. It's I think obviously because it's like the season where people are wanting to work out more and like wanting to add more and more and more. And I think Marcus Philly made a good note about this too. It was like ever since he quit doing CrossFit, he's like talks about how more productive he is in his everyday life because you're not just completely smoked.
Yeah.
Like when you allow just your body and your mind to recover. And
I can't imagine how they must have felt.
Yeah, how like a competitive games athlete. Like, yeah. So, I mean, you'll realize that you can probably get more work done. And then again, that will open up more time for you to practice golf because you're a golfer.
Yes. Yes. Work on your nutrition, read, go to bed an hour earlier or sleep in more, whatever. Like there's a lot to do with that extra time than like obsessing over. It's not about doing more. The gym, there's so many things in life where it's like do more, work harder, work harder, work harder. The gym is like one space where that's just like legitimately not true.
Yeah, I'm working with a long driver right now, and he's also like a firefighter. So he works like a crazy schedule, and he like squeezes in workouts when he can.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, that's gonna be tough because now you're like doing workouts like pretty close together without the recovery that you need to move faster. Like, and so I'm like trying to tell him, I'm like, more isn't going to be your answer. Like, it's actually going to be less because you have to recover.
Yeah.
In pursuit of speed, like more is not the answer.
Yeah, that's tough. I definitely have worked with a lot of nurses and a lot of overnighters that'll do like their 2 overnights in a row type thing. And, and then they squeeze in.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll push the 4 in a row workout things. And some of them, depending on what programming they're doing, like they can get away with it, but it is tough. It's a hard thing. There isn't like a sexy way to manage it other than encouraging people to probably rest more than they want to.
Yeah, it's so.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can get him, what we can do with the firefighter schedule, long driver guy.
Well, don't eat the food at the fire station.
Those boys cook some good stuff.
Well, hopefully they do, but sometimes they get, as they should, they get treats too.
Yeah, I've also seen them fire up the grill and cook a lot of meat, so I'm sure they do all right.
All right. Well, I mean, that's good. That's good. Well, anyway, this was a good one.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about.
Oh, your new threads.
Yeah. So
I look like a homeless person, and you're like all cut out.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna go play golf. So these are for those of you watching, this is my new golf attire. We are partnered now with State and Liberty. They're literally a brand that makes clothing for fit guys, and it's freaking awesome.
Not just golf clothes, but you're wearing their golf clothes, and they look very good on you.
Thank you. Like I've
they
had
make suits.
Yeah, they make a lot of stuff, and like finally, I've got a pair of pants that fit, shirts that fit, and we love all of our sponsors and things we work with, but clothing is the only one like I have to have.
Yeah.
Like everything else is nice to have. You have to wear clothes.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I finally have clothes that fit me, and it's so nice. And I'm like, this might be my biggest game changer in 2023. That I was so uncomfortable, like walking around on the course, like in either super tight pants or tight shorts. I got made fun of by the guys I play with all the time, which is fine because like now we're just having fun. It wasn't just some random asshole giving me shit. But it's like my guys that I play with, like shorts are a little tight. I'd be down there reading my putts, and my shorts would ride up, like, and then I'd have to fix it, and I'd stand over my putt and just look silly. And so it's nice.
Can they see their putt over their beer guts or no?
I mean, some of them are pretty skinny, but probably not. Some of them don't even get down there and read their putts. But anyways, State and Liberty guys, check them out. Finally, some clothes for fit guys, and which I'm trying to actually do for everyone that listens. Right, we're trying to make you a fit person to need these clothes as well. And here's a good point about the bodybuilding is right. Like I've needed these clothes for a long time, and I haven't done bodybuilding workouts in years.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen me do a bodybuilding workout
No.
consistently? We've been together 5 years, 6 years. We've been together for a while.
Five years.
I've always had this problem with clothes. They don't fit me because I'm a fit guy. I have muscle, and don't do bodybuilding workouts. So there you go.
Yeah,
Wrap
no,
it
they've
all
been
up.
great. They were so nice when I went to New York. I visited their store over there. They are popping up in all kinds of cities, though. Like we saw Kansas City. So they're in your towns. They're Michigan based, I believe, Ann Arbor. So people can check out. I mean, if there's a store in there.
Yeah, and they
in
don't
their-
re- and
in
they
their
don't
city
and they
nearby,
don't do
but-
discounts. But I have a code. Erika will link it in our description.
Yes.
Is it Wescott Golf or something, or Wescott 10?
I don't know.
It's something like that.
It'll be in the show
I
notes.
should have memorized it, but it'll be in the show notes. And they don't do discounts, so use my code, you get 10% off. So awesome clothes. They feel nice. They're a great company. We're excited to work with them.
Shout out to State and Liberty.
State and Liberty.
Squat's done. We're done. Let's wrap it up.
That's it. That was my what I can't get over today. Like that was it.
No, I think that was good. I think that was enough. We appreciate y'all for listening. As always, please reach out to us, codywescottgolf.com/links, where you can find our free trial, our free downloads, our resources, our YouTube channel, all of the things. Like and subscribe, share us. And yeah, also, if you're not on our weekly newsletter, get that too, because we put out a lot of really good nuggets in there exclusive to our email newsletter list. So you can sign up there as well on codywescottgolf.com/links.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye.